Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is very exciting because I have my colleague Amanda Kunkel with me today, and she is a business expert and a psychic, and she's going to get some answers for us from the universe. So I'm going to let Amanda explain a little bit about what she does, who she is, and what she's going to do. And if you have questions, I will be watching on my phone. So if you have questions during this video, or if you come back and watch later, you can ask then, but we will not be doing questions while she is channeling. So go ahead, Amanda, welcome.
Hello, thank you, Corey. Lovely to be here with you all again. And especially because the universe is very excited about this book writing. I connect directly with the universe, which is God, Goddess, Mother Earth, Buddha, whomever you follow and have that heart-to-heart connection with. And the universe is always pushing us into expansion, and not pushing in a bad way, not pushing you as in you don't want to go to the first day of school and your parents are pushing you out the door, pushing you as in being your biggest cheerleaders so that you can take all of your genius, all of your expertise, and reach so many more people with it. And the universe has pointed out that the book is a fabulous way to reach out and touch more people, and then to bring them into your inner circle, bring them into your business realm so that you can help them further. So I feel like the universe has got like a lot of good stuff to say to here today. And I'm excited to do this channel for you. Please know I am fully awake as I do these channels. I'm just sort of in the background. I let the universe come to and through me. It may feel like you are drinking from a fire hose because the universe speaks very quickly through me. And you will see me drinking a lot of water throughout this transmission because of that. However, no, this is why we have replays. This is why we have recordings. So don't feel like you have to try to write everything down, that you can come back and review.
Yes, I love that. And I love the inner circle feeling of a book. That's something I've talked about off and on over the years. So I love that the universe brought that back around to us. So we're ready to roll if you're ready to go.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Some of the biggest procrastinations that we see in this world have to do around this concept of the book writing. So many wonderful people do lean into things where others don't, such as starting the business, because these are very complicated things and very big things that people kind of resist in their lives. However, we also want to say that of this population of people who to go ahead and start these businesses, not all of them necessarily take their business to reaching the point that they want to reach. And so one of the key concepts we want to start here with today is about you get to decide. You get to decide how big you want to go, how broad you want to go. And we're here cheering you on all the way. It has to be in your sovereign choice. It has to be in what you want for yourself. And so where we really want to say, put some pressure on people right now is, you lovely, wonderful souls that have these huge soul missions and can touch and help so many more people. And you say, I want to do this, I want to do this, and then you don't. And then you get started and then you stop. And then you get started and then you stop. And so we understand that these bigger, broader, bolder concepts and actions can feel so very frightening and so very scary and so overwhelming. But that is why there is so many other helpful people in the world to do this for you, such as you business owners have your accountants and your lawyers and all of your financial experts. You do not try to do that for yourself. So we want to say anything else that you want to do or you wish to achieve in your business, you go ahead and reach the other helpful people in the world to help you do this. You do not have to know it all on your own. You do not have to carry the burden of all of this. You do not have to be alone and saying, I want to do this, I want to do this, and then feeling so overwhelmed that you can't. Always start with asking for help and asking for more help. These are signs of strength. These are not signs of weakness. These are signs of experts. These are signs of what Amanda calls the empire builders, the men and women who are out there really on the leading edge of experience here in this world and sharing it with so many other people. We understand how overwhelming all of this can be. And so what we want to say to you is any desire that you have in your heart. And this does not just have to be about writing a book. This can be about starting a television show. This can be about starting media relations. This can be about being a public figure. And there's so many ways to be there. So many ways. When you're at this point, we say to you, make the commitment to yourself, make the commitment to self to follow through on your desires. If you do not follow through on your desires, you are mostly letting down you and nobody else. Sure, all the people out there that you can reach and that you can touch, they're not going to necessarily be let down, right? Their own internal GPS will take them elsewhere. But when what you have is the perfect fit for them, and you have this desire, you need to let yourself explode onto the scene. And we are here guiding you. We are keeping you safe. We are keeping you secure. And we are giving you the next step and the next step because we have created this universe map with you before you were born. So the way is already here. The only person blocking it is yourself. And so this is where we say to people, you draw that line in the sand, you make the decision, you make the movement. You do not, you humans call it procrastination. Procrastination is a wonderful way to keep yourself safe, to keep yourself where you are. And your bodies are hardwired to keep yourself there, but your souls are expansive and more so. And so this is where you get to allow your soul, your mind, and your body to come into one harmony and to expand. So do not wait. Sure, do your research, but do not take years to do it. Do not even take months to do it. When you have the call for anything, you go and do it now. This is how you hear people. They say, I sat down to maybe reach out to a new prospective client, and yet they all of a sudden remembered they had to go to the grocery store. And so they said, okay, I'm going to go to the grocery store because I'm getting this strong urge for this thing. And they go to the grocery store, and there they run into somebody that has followed them for years, who says, actually, that thing that I saw you speaking about yesterday, I actually really want in. How can I get in? This is how these things happen. So when you have these urges, you have to take action on them now. You have to take action on them now. We don't want you to ever feel like you're going to miss out on something. It is just going to take longer for you if you do not act on these actions, these feelings, these desires now. It is going to be a not as easy or exciting road. This is why we give you these, go do this now, because we want you to have the easy and fastest path. We don't want you to go in circle and go in circles and go in circles. We want you to be all that you were sent here to be. When we want you to be so glowing and know how safe that you are, that you can touch so many other people in this world. And we love this idea of a book because that is a wonderful way to bring more people into that inner circle of your business without any of the fancy mechanisms that are being taught out there in the business world today. We also say this is the same for anyone who feels anything other than writing a book too. We know you're here because of writing a book, but we also want to know when you feel that, I need to be on TV, or I need to start a PR campaign because I need to be seen in so many other physical locations so I can go and speak to so many more people. We say, do that now. Do not wait. The only person you are hurting by waiting is yourself, and it does not hurt. It is that it takes longer, more frustration. We know how you feel about frustration. We know that. And so why do it? Why do it? Your time is now. All of the words that are up here, that are here, and that want to come out, you find the helpful people to help you with that. You get to choose. That is your PowerPoint in this world, your sovereignty to choose. And so I know we have been speaking, and so we want to give you this moment to ask questions. Don't worry.
Oh, that was a lot.
And I was like, that's a good point.
Yeah. Not kidding when she says fire hose. So if anyone has questions, go ahead and ask them now. while we're waiting on questions, I jotted down a couple things I was thinking about.
Yes, please.
And yeah, actually the last thing that you were saying was about the book bringing people in easier than all the fancy mechanisms in business. And I just love that because, a book is a connection tool. And when you're running Facebook ads, that's not really a connection tool. That's not something that's bringing you closer to your audience and letting them say, hey, this is who I am. This is what I'm all about. So I really appreciated that point there. And that's not something I've really thought about a whole lot. Did you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So the universe is always, and my clients hear this frequently, is like, don't recreate the wheel. So anything that you do or that you create, keep it and reuse it and recycle it. And that doesn't mean that you're not being authentic, because you can add on to anything. It means don't just put stuff out there and then let it disappear, because then you're always just putting stuff out there and putting stuff out there and putting stuff out there. When you have, and this works, especially people that have final products, right? Like a physical product. Mm-hmm. That product is going to be around for a very long time before it biodegrades. Yeah. Right? But for someone such as myself, unless I put, posts and blogs into repeated recycles and different funnels and a different catchphrase, like there's all this other work I get to put into it, right? Where with a physical product, such as a book, or if again, your business is about a physical product, which is actually really quite funny. If you have a physical product and then you write a book that helps people bring them back to your inner circle of the physical products, then you have two physical products. So see how you've now built on something instead of just letting something go out into cyberspace and into the world and then like dissipate.
Makes sense.
That was a new one there, that whole physical product in the book thing. I have not had that download before. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So the universe is always about like having something that's going to stay around that you can use to connect with so many people. And obviously your time, we all know this, like I couldn't be doing a channel every hour of the day all the time. Mm-hmm. And then even then, if it was just 1-to-1, that leaves 8 people a day, which I couldn't even do, by the way. My body would burn out. Mm-hmm. So when you have something that can be multiplied, that like one to many, such as a book, or you've seen people when they have like TV shows, documentaries, mm-hmm. right? Or they go teach in front of, big groups at universities, which actually books help leverage you to be able to go do that. Mm-hmm. There's so much more impact that you can have and then bring the people back to your inner circle, right? Because everyone always wants, I don't want to use the phrase, well, it's more of you, but they want to be closer to you. And this gives people the opportunity to say, I want to be closer to that person without having to be on 24/7, which again, like you cannot sustain, right?
Yeah.
Oh, ooh, I love that example there that just came. That's fabulous. And it's really, the universe is like, your book is also a gift. Yes, you can leverage that gift to bring people into that circle, to give them like, right, they come in, they either buy your physical product, invest in it, or become a client customer. Mm. It's like the gift that just gives and gives and gives without you having to deplete all of your energy and resources.
Yes. Lots of good stuff there. Thank you. And
you are welcome.
Books are gifts.
The what part?
Books are gifts.
Books are gifts. So I personally am one of those people, like the books that I actually own are like only like this many, because when I'm done with a book mm-hmm. and I've taken the notes out of it that I want, I'm always like passing it on to somebody with like all my footnotes and like the margins, because they are such a gift.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. And then, one of the nice things about that is if somebody does that with a book that one of my clients has done, pass that on to a friend, drop it off we have half price books here. I don't know if there are other half price books type of stores in other areas, but you drop it off there and, you might get $1 for that book, but then someone else will get that book and it keeps on going.
I remember, so those of you familiar with Wayne Dyer, and he was like a spiritual teacher, amazing man. And he was a psychologist, and he quit his practice back in the day. There was no internet, for all of you that remember that time. And him and his family loaded in his car, and they took his book that he wrote to every single radio station throughout the States, and then would speak on radio stations. Hey guys, guess what? You don't have to do that. Like, there's so many more wonderful things for you to get your book out there, and the experts available to help you do that. But eventually he got speaking gigs. By the way, his children are like millionaires because of this snowball effect that all started with him and his young family driving around the country in this car. And my guess is it was probably one of those cars that didn't have the best AC, because if you remember way back in the day, the AC was not like it is now. So he was speaking once about an experience that he had where a woman stole an audio tape of his from a store. And she turned her life around from that audio tape.
Oh, wow.
She had been, I think she was like a drug addict. Yeah, she stole the tape because she didn't have the money. It wasn't like, let me just steal this just to see if I can. And his response to her was, I'm really glad you stole that tape. He wasn't concerned about not making that 50 cents back or whatever. So if you remember audio tapes, like there was so much stuff in the casing and the everything. He said, I'm glad that you're here now. Because what she ended up doing was then she bought a couple more of his books, and then she came and paid for the tickets for his speaking gigs. And then you could, there was some reserved one-to-one time, right? So you could get closer and closer to his inner circle.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, that you being here now is what matters. And of course, we as business owners also know the highest profit point was her being there right then in his inner circle. And that story has stuck with me as a business expert for years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And his compassion to say like, oh yeah, that whatever profit off of that tape would have been like, literally, it's all good. Like I'm, making more than enough based on all the things that have snowballed and my inner circle. You being here now is what matters.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't know that story.
You know the story?
No.
Yeah, that one always stuck out. I think it's in one of his books is where I read it.
Okay. That's awesome. I might have to check it out.
I know. I bet if you Google
people talking about what they read in the book, and that's a book I might have to check out. So I did want to get to, we have a question here, and also Sue says hello. So hello, Sue.
Hello, Sue.
Rena says, how do you suggest tuning in more to get those strong urges to act?
Okay. Well, Rena, I'm getting something for you, and then I'm also getting some general advice. So the more that one person is like centered, it's way easier to hear guidance. So everyone that's a mother knows the struggle, right? Because you are having, your business, your children, your neighbors, your pets, right? And so it can be difficult as all these things are pulling on you to then really feel that like, ooh, this urge to go do this thing now, right? It's the same thing when you're scrolling through Facebook. It's really hard to get somebody's attention because there's so much stimulus going on. So in general advice is about centering and grounding yourself, having good boundaries. It's where you say no more than you say yes, asking for help from helpful people around you. Rena, what I'm getting for you is really about having more of that quiet time for yourself in the morning before all the kiddos get up. And even if it's just deep breathing for 5 minutes. Like literally, it can be that easy. Right? Meditating and having on your beautiful fountain and your oil diffuser, and like we all love that stuff. And by you, I mean like this is what a lot of us metaphysical, spiritual people do. And you know, making sure we have a really clean diet and all of that. And like it looks fancy, and it helps keep us calm and clear and centered. So we're getting those hits more often and quickly, and we can act on them. But literally, you can also just deep breathe for 5 minutes in the morning and set yourself up. And then, you know, maybe again right before lunchtime. And then again before dinner. So it doesn't have to be some long getting yourself grounded and centered. So for any of you other mommies and daddies out there, a lot going on. Just that deep coming back to your breath, letting your belly expand, letting your rib cage expand, because you're also receiving them. Like the breath is your natural state of receiving. So receiving hits on go do this here, contact that person, go to the grocery store is receiving. It's the same wavelength. That's why it works so well. Hope that makes sense.
All right. Yeah, that was really good. That helps me too.
Oh, okay, good. And that's also so what the universe just said about that is that's where people tend to get really stuck about taking action on their book, is like well, there's so much, and you know, am I gonna have to start with a name and a title, or I have this theme, and then so all these buts and all these what ifs come up in their mind. It's basically almost the same process that a lot of people go through when they start a business, and why they drag their feet about it, and why so many people don't. So this is just, don't let yourself get caught up in those but and those what ifs and those overwhelms. Bring yourself back with that deep breathing. Bring yourself back with that receiving of the breath, and then asking helpful experts around.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Do you have any other questions, Corey, or anything you wanted to pose?
I was gonna say hi to Jen, because Jen said she's driving by and will be back for the replay. So hello. And Jen, if you have questions later, let us know. I did not have other questions right now. If you had other information from the universe for us.
Okay. Excellent. So the universe is saying is like, you don't have to know the full path to take the first step. Right? You don't have to know what the final look-alike product of your book is going to be, or your TV program, or whatever it is. You just need to take that first step, which is to contact someone like Corey who knows what they're doing, because they are the gatekeeper to all that other information. So it's not that you have to contact this person and then contact this person, and then do more research and contact this person. The universe is like, slow down, back the train up. Reach out to an expert who has all the connections, who can either personally connect you or can find the information for you. Right? It would be like me trying to go through a medical text, trying to find something about the way neural synapses relate to each other. And I could actually probably figure it out, because I've had a lot of those classes due to my psych degree. But if I didn't, be like, no. Right? You give it to somebody that's had some experience, who that could go, here it is, let me explain this in layman's terms.
Yeah, that was a really good analogy, using the business thing, because I personally put that off for years because I had no idea how to start it. And then I was put in a position, thank you, universe, for putting me in a position where I had no choice. And I just went, okay, guess I better find somebody who knows what they're doing. And I dug around and did that. But, you know, also with the book, like when I started writing, I knew how to write. I didn't know any of the other stuff. And I had to go out and find all those people. And it's really overwhelming. So
that is why there are only like maybe a handful of publishers like yourself in the United States. Right?
mhm,
Because doing all that work takes a certain type of kick-ass person.
yeah, I know a lot of
Not
them.
me.
I know a lot of them actually don't have editors in-house. So yeah, they'll tell you go find the editors, and well, it depends on what their thing is. So some of them do like the covers and the marketing. Some of them do
Okay.
like what we do, which is like the whole, hey, you have an actual friggin' book in your hand.
Right.
Yeah, so yeah, a lot.
That, yeah, that just, it, you know, I know each business is very unique, but also going back to the, especially women business owners who are, you know, expected to be mommies and business owners. It's like if you went to the grocery store and you had to go to three, even just three different grocery stores with your children in tow. No. And I know this from having nannied years ago and from my great nephews. No, one place,
Yeah,
you in, you out, done.
yeah. That's why we love Target.
I like Target too. Mm,
So does anyone else have questions? If you do, make sure you drop them below. I did want to talk a little bit about something you said way back at the beginning where you were talking about how um, you can decide how big and broad you want to go with your business. And this book is a part of that. Do you have anything more there?
So a lot of people have big, they're business owners, they have big aspirations and they want to have a book and then a TV show from the book and then a movie. And that's all fabulous and wonderful. And if that is your path, awesome. The reason you don't see that a lot is because you know that GPS recalculating. Things happen in life and you decide what's more important to you. And of course, you and the universe put this all together before you were born, which doesn't mean having those wants and desires were something you would never have. You get to choose what's part of my I'm going to have it all and what's not. But to go the bigger and broader and bolder, if that is when I say those things, you know, that's like right here, like that's part of your mission. That's to take each urge, book writing, TV show, movie, whatever it is. The universe is just offering those examples because I'm asking why. They said because that's how most people think, like in their head, is act on each one. Because you will never get to the movie that comes from the book if you don't write the book.
Okay.
Doesn't mean that you're going to get to the movie, right? You get to choose what happens next. Each step along the way reveals the next step. Yeah, the universe sees the whole path, but there's always that recalculating based on the free wills of others around you. Right? Like let's take into example the woman that wrote Outlander. Outlander. I have no idea why I said that with an accent. That was really interesting. I'll talk to the universe about that later. She never even meant to publish it, right? Hers was like, you know, I'm just gonna write this. And then she did, and it was something like 10 years or more later that the TV show picked up, right? And now, like, I have my next book on pre-order and it's not coming till November. Like, that's how big of a following she has. So the universe will always recalculate in your favor, but you can't get to that next thing without the first step.
Awesome. Okay, that was good stuff.
Write the damn book. Like that's like the short way of saying it. Write that damn book.
Yeah.
Produce, or excuse me, approach that TV producer, whatever it is. Like you have to take the next step.
Yeah. That kind of reminds me of when I took my daughter to Reiki, and she's 8. She asks a lot of questions, which I love. And I love that she's doing like big girl Reiki sessions now where she goes to have it done and actually talks to our Reiki lady. I don't know what you call her. We call her the Reiki lady. so we were talking to her, and London has these big questions like, am I going to meet Jane Goodall? And she just, she humors her and she lets her ask a couple, really big questions. And she gets, she had like the pendulum out and a yes and no sheet. So London could ask a question, and then she would hold it and let it go to yes and no. And one of her questions she asked, she got a no, and she was really disappointed. And she was explaining to her, hey, where you are today, it's a no. But 5 years from now, you could be in a totally different spot and have moved up to the point where it can be a yes. And that's what it reminded me of, what you were saying, like, well, you have to get to the book, and then you've got the right, vibration or energy or whatever, momentum, the piece, whatever it is you want to think of, to do the movie, to do, get on stage, or, whatever it is. So yeah.
Yes. And I love that. I love that example with London. That was so sweet.
Yeah.
The universe, like part of the universal law is if you have a desire, the path to it is here right now. But it's up to you to accept, allow, receive, and to take those aligned action steps, right? The pot of gold is not just going to fall in your lap. You can get a pot of gold taking aligned action steps, allowing and receiving. And again, that pot of gold could be TV show, movie, book, speaking gig at Yale and Harvard, or whatever it is that you desire.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. So much good stuff today.
Yes, and I will answer any questions on replay. Just tag me. Facebook algorithm. Yay. I will loop back around to make sure I see them all as well. So if it takes me a hot second to get back to you, it's Facebook glitching. Thank you for having me, Corey. I'm super excited. Super excited for everyone. Yes.
Yeah, so much good stuff. Sue says, desire to get back on stage in September at my conference in Birmingham. Yay, Sue! Breathing in the confidence. Yes. Well, thank you everyone for joining us, and thank you to those who watch on the replay. Like Amanda said, we'll answer questions later. And thank you, Amanda and Universe, for giving us all this fabulous stuff to work with.
Thank you, Corey. So happy to see everybody here. And I believe in you. The universe believes in you. I know Corey believes in you. So let that light shine, baby.
All right. The book, Strength to Rise Up, Sue says. Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Well, we are heading out now. So bye, everyone.